Hi, I'm Simon Allison. I'm founder and CEO of Hoftel. We're a global network/alliance of hotel real estate investors. I think it's happening because owners are getting more savvy. A lot of them are becoming more adept at operating, and they want control of that operation. And what I think is also happening, and I think the brands are shooting themselves in the foot here, is that as owners get more expert in looking at their P&Ls, they're realizing just quite how many charges and programs and standards they're being pushed into, some of which they might be hidden in the small print of the management agreement, but they really weren't aware of them, and that's making them pretty unhappy. And so more and more they're going, well, you know what, next hotel we do with you, even if we do it with you, we're going to make it a franchise. And they're willing to put the effort and the money into building up their own management teams or using the white label operators instead. So I think the brand's own inflexibility in adapting contracts to the new world is actually going to end up costing them quite a lot, because a lot of those recharges are funding they're not for profit, but they're used effectively to fund the head office or the regional office. And once they're gone, I think that will have some impact on brand P&L. I think you've got two scenarios. One is interest rates don't fall as fast as we originally thought, which is more and more where the consensus is, and the other is that they do keep falling. If they don't fall, you may have the issue that a lot of these debt funds came in. Obviously, they're bridging the mezzanine piece between 50% loan to value and 70% loan to value, on the assumption that in a year or two, with interest rates falling, they will be able to get out. The equity buyers will be there. The senior debt will bridge the gap, and they'll be out clean. And that may not happen, in which case you're going to have some debt funds stuck with what they thought was a short-term position that may end up being a long-term position. That will be quite interesting. On the other hand, you have the opposite scenario, which is that if interest rates fall quite far, quite fast, the senior lenders will be back in the game. They're already coming back into the game. And you can see they've rebuilt their balance sheet, their Basel requirements are all being met. Interest rates are coming down, so the loan to values they can lend to have gone up a bit. And indeed, their credit committees are coming under enormous pressure from the marketing guys going, look, we keep missing every deal. We need to be out there. So once they're back in the game, then where does the credit fund business go? If banks are back to 60%, 65% loan to value, that wonderful position where you can lend what was basically a senior debt credit risk, getting an equity return of 12, 13, 14%, ain't so good. That's disappeared. So either way, the question is they're going to have some challenges. It's still a very interesting business, a lot of people in it, but I think it's going to be a more challenging scene for the debt funds in the next couple of years. Personally, for me, I want to meet new owners. I'm always getting to meet new people. That's great. The networking, as Andrew acknowledges, is always very important. But I think one difference between Andrew's conferences and other people's is the content here is always top notch. He puts really interesting panels together. You always come away having learned something. And we run our own conferences, as you know, Chris, and we try and do the same. But I have to say, he's a master at it, and you always come away going, "That was great. I didn't know that." And for me, busy people, especially owners and investors, if they can't come away having met a contact they can do a deal with or learn something they didn't know before, it's a waste of their time. So keep it up.